Picture this. It's 1989, and network television just handed you a show where a guy gets stuck bouncing through time, inhabiting random bodies, and occasionally showing up as a pregnant woman or a chimp headed to space. Oh, and his only companion is a holographic fashion disaster who smokes cigars and can't touch anything. Somehow, this became must-watch TV for 5 straight years. Quantum Leap wasn't your typical sci-fi fare. No aliens with rubber foreheads, no laser battles, just Dr. Sam Beckett, brought to life by Scott Bakula, stumbling through history trying to fix things one leap at a time, while his buddy Al, portrayed by Dean Stockwell, showed up in increasingly ridiculous suits to drop exposition and moral support. For 5 seasons, Sam tackled civil rights, gender politics, Vietnam, and small-town America, all while dealing with Swiss cheese memory. And somehow, the show made us care deeply about whether a quantum physicist could fix someone's life or save their marriage. Today we're breaking down 15 facts about Quantum Leap that'll make you see the show in a whole new light. Stick around for number 1 because it turns out the entire rulebook was basically a polite suggestion the writers ignored whenever convenient. But first, smash that like button and hit subscribe. It genuinely helps us reach more retro TV fans. Now let's leap in. Number 15. Dennis Hopper told him it was career suicide. Dean Stockwell almost passed on the role that would define his later career, thanks to some questionable advice from a Hollywood legend. When Stockwell signed on to play Al, he wasn't some unknown looking for a break. The man had serious credentials: Dune, Married to the Mob, Beverly Hills Cop 2, 4 decades of film work. So when he agreed to play a cigar-chomping holographic sidekick on a time travel show, Hollywood raised an eyebrow. Dennis Hopper straight up told him it would tank his career. To be fair, the premise sounded bonkers. Time travel? Body swapping? Swiss cheese memory? Not exactly prestige television. But Stockwell saw something everyone else missed. He'd already conquered film and worked with legendary directors. Why not spend 5 or 6 years having fun on a network show? Turns out that was the perfect attitude. Stockwell transformed what could have been a throwaway sidekick into one of TV's most beloved sci-fi characters. He scored multiple Emmy nominations and a Golden Globe. So yeah, Dennis Hopper's advice, spectacularly wrong. If taking that role was career suicide, Stockwell somehow resurrected himself as an even bigger icon. Now, while Stockwell was proving he could do TV, his co-star was proving he could do literally everything. Number 14. Sam could actually sing.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try.
If you thought Dr. Sam Beckett only leaped into danger and moral dilemmas, think again. He also leaped into musical theatre constantly. Bakula wasn't just playing a brainy physicist, he was a legitimate Broadway talent with a Tony nomination for romance and serious stage credits. The man had pipes. Quantum Leap exploited that talent ruthlessly. Bakula performed all his own singing, practically unheard of when most actors got dubbed. Whether belting show tunes, crooning like a lounge singer, or playing a blind musician, Bakula brought real musical chops. One memorable moment had Sam singing John Lennon's Imagine in 1969. Small problem, the song hadn't been written yet, so in Quantum Leap canon, Sam basically invented it first. The show never addressed this paradox. Bakula also plays guitar, and his talents followed him to NCIS New Orleans, where his character regularly sat down at a piano because when you've got Scott Bakula, you use those skills. Turns out the only thing more impressive than leaping through time is doing it while staying in perfect pitch. So Bakula's musical talent was the real deal. Al's signature prop? That was pure Hollywood deception. Number 13. The real reason Al always had a cigar. We're talking about one of the sneakiest moves in television history. Dean Stockwell turned a character detail into a 5-year hustle. When Stockwell first landed the role, he pitched an idea. Al should always be smoking a cigar. On the surface, it was brilliant character work, giving the hologram a tangible habit that made him feel real. The real motivation? Stockwell wanted free premium cigars on NBC's dime for as long as the show ran. And it worked flawlessly. For For 5 seasons, top-shelf cigars showed up courtesy of the studio budget, while Stockwell simultaneously created one of sci-fi's most recognizable character traits. That's not method acting, that's method hustling. The man got paid to smoke expensive cigars while creating an iconic visual that defined his character. Looking back, it's impossible to imagine Al without that cigar. And knowing Stockwell engineered the whole thing just to score free smokes, that somehow makes it even better. So Stockwell scammed NBC for cigars. But when the network tried to cancel the show, fans fought back with something even more powerful than free tobacco: pure dedication. Number 12. Fan mail saved the show for 2 more years. Long before social media campaigns, Quantum Leap fans proved old-school methods work if you're willing to develop writer's cramp. When cancellation rumors circulated at the end of Season 3, fans known as the Leapers mobilized. No Twitter hashtags, no online petitions. These fans grabbed pens and declared war through the postal system. Thousands of handwritten letters flooded NBC's mailroom. Each one a heartfelt argument for why Sam and Al deserved to keep leaping. This wasn't clicking a button. These people had to compose thoughts, handwrite pages, find envelopes, buy stamps, and physically mail their pleas. That commitment meant something. Scott Bakula was genuinely moved. More importantly, NBC noticed. That letter-writing campaign secured 2 additional seasons. Sure, the show got cancelled after Season 5 anyway, but those letters bought Sam Beckett 2 more years. Sometimes the most effective weapon isn't going viral, it's creating a mailroom crisis. Thousands of fans worked incredibly hard to save the show. Meanwhile, the show's most quotable moment required 0 effort whatsoever. Number 11. The iconic catchphrase happened by accident. Sometimes the most iconic moments in television happen completely by accident. Scott Bakula had already conquered Broadway with a Tony nomination when he decided to roll the dice on Hollywood. His theater friends probably thought he'd lost it, but sometimes risky moves pay off. During the pilot, right after Sam leapt and saw a stranger's face in the mirror, Bakula did something unscripted. He muttered 2 words.
I'll put the coffee on, Tom.
Oh, boy.
Pure instinct, 0 planning. Creator Donald P. Bellasario heard it and immediately knew they'd struck gold. That improvised reaction became Sam's signature line, appearing in nearly every episode for 5 years. No focus groups, no script revisions, no network notes. Just a guy expressing exactly what we'd all think if we suddenly woke up in someone else's body. That's lightning in a bottle you can't recreate. Bakula's confused "oh boy" became as essential to Quantum Leap as the leap itself. From spontaneous magic to carefully crafted nostalgia, let's talk about how the show ended. Number 10. The creator rebuilt his father's bar for the finale. At number 10, when showrunners get sentimental about finales, you usually get tearful goodbyes. Donald Bellasario literally reconstructed his childhood. The bar where Sam has his final conversations wasn't just another set, it was a meticulous recreation of Bellisario's father's actual bar from a Pennsylvania coal mining town, circa 1953. Original beer taps, the same ice cream cooler, identical back bar, all rebuilt from old family photographs and personal memories. Since Bellisario's dad was named Albert, the mysterious bartender was also called Al. Basically, the creator brought his father back to life through television. The bar was filled with actors who'd played people Sam helped, now appearing as different characters, enjoying drinks together.
My dad created me, and so I made it in my dad's bar. And when I say that was my dad's bar, that was my dad's bar.
It wasn't just a location, it was a spiritual crossroads where past and present collided. Here's the gut punch. Bellisario didn't know this would be the final episode when he built that set. He expected a 6th season. What was meant to be a powerful turning point accidentally became a farewell to both his father and his show. When Sam chose to keep leaping instead of going home, it was Bellisario saying goodbye to 5 years of work while honoring the man who raised him. That finale honored the past. But throughout its run, Quantum Leap was quietly building the future. just not the show's own. Number 9. The show was a launching pad for future stars. Quantum Leap wasn't just great science fiction, it was accidentally predicting Hollywood's future. Jennifer Aniston appeared in Season 5 helping wounded Vietnam vets, 2 years before becoming Rachel Green. Pre-iconic haircut, pre-everything. Joseph Gordon-Levitt showed up in 1991, years before Third Rock from the Sun, and decades before becoming Hollywood's go-to guy for quirky indies. The 1989 guest roster reads like a before they were famous reel. Jason Priestley appeared months before Beverly Hills 90210. Terry Hatcher guest-starred before Lois and Clark, or Desperate Housewives' Patricia Richardson showed up right before 8 seasons, keeping Tim Allen from destroying suburbia. When your show bounces through decades and scenarios every week, you're casting constantly. And sometimes those bit players turned out to be future A-listers. The original series created new stars. The reboot honored an old one, well, technically a character who became old. Number 8. The reboot brought back a classic character. At number 8, we've got something wild. Most reboots scatter Easter eggs. This one planted a character who literally lived through the original series. In NBC's 2022 reboot, Ernie Hudson plays Herbert Magic Williams, a former Navy SEAL running the Quantum Leap project. Longtime fans recognized that name immediately. Magic was the soldier Sam leaped into during the Vietnam two-parter in Season 3. Sam desperately tried to save his brother Tom from dying in combat, and Magic was Tom's commanding officer. But that leap carried more weight. While focused on saving his brother, Sam also encountered a young Al as a prisoner of war, witnessing the trauma that would define his future best friend's life. In the reboot, Magic remembered something was off about that mission. He blacked out during the leap, but eventually pieced together that something impossible had occurred. He sought out the Quantum Leap program to understand what happened. So the guy running the whole operation isn't some random new character. He's a living callback to one of the original series' most emotional episodes. And while we're talking about episodes with unexpected emotional weight, here's one that sounds ridiculous on paper, but landed surprisingly hard. Number 7. The chimpanzee episode got serious about animal rights. Leave it to Quantum Leap to take Guy Leaps into Space Chimp and turn it into actual social commentary. In Season 4, Sam found himself inhabiting Bobo, a chimpanzee about to get launched into space for research. On paper, this should have been the show Jumping the Shark, except writer Paul Brown had different plans. Brown didn't wing it. He reached out to Jane Goodall for consultation. Yes, that Jane Goodall. The world's foremost chimpanzee expert agreed to help portray lab conditions accurately. But Goodall didn't stop at a phone call. She kept sending Brown research articles about animal testing, becoming the episode's unofficial science advisor. The episode raised genuine awareness about lab conditions without getting preachy. Animal rights groups praised it. The scientific community didn't dismiss it as propaganda, and viewers somehow watched Scott Bakula earnestly portray a chimpanzee without bursting into laughter. This might be the only time a man trapped in monkey body premise led to serious discussions about research ethics. Quantum Leap used its weird premise to tackle real-world issues. All right, we're halfway through this leap back through TV history, so if you're still with us, and clearly you are, go ahead and smash that like button and hit subscribe. The second half gets even weirder, and you're not going to want to miss it. Now, let's keep leaping. Number 6. Quantum Leap's DNA came from Battlestar Galactica. Number 6. Breaks the mold. Quantum Leap was never officially a Battlestar Galactica spin-off, but there's definitely some sci-fi DNA connecting them. Back in the late 70s, the original Battlestar Galactica got axed after 1 season. One of the writers caught in that wreckage was Donald P. Bellasario. Yeah, that guy again. He and Galactica creator Glenn A. Larson eventually produced Galactica 1980, a spectacularly terrible spin-off. The show initially played with time travel, one character altering history while others raced to fix his mistakes, but the network got cold feet and demanded they drop it. 10 episodes later, Galactica 1980 was cancelled. But Bellisario remembered that time travel concept, the part that actually worked, and filed it away. Cut to a decade later, and Quantum Leap hits with Scott Bakula as Dr. Sam Beckett. Same core premise of time travel and historical course correction, minus the clunky space opera baggage. Bellisario had taken his abandoned Galactica idea, stripped away the spaceships, and turned it into something that genuinely worked. So Bellisario knew how to repurpose old concepts. He also knew how to leverage his existing properties, and almost pulled off the most ambitious crossover of the era. Number 5. Sam almost leapt into Magnum PI. Throughout 5 seasons, Sam leaped into pilots, boxers, beauty queens, primates, and even Lee Harvey Oswald. But here's the crossover that almost happened. Donald P. Bellisario, who created both shows, pitched an episode where Sam would leap into Thomas Magnum himself. Yeah, that Magnum mustache and Hawaiian shirt included. Magnum had ended its run, but was still crushing it in syndication. NBC took the pitch seriously enough to explore it. Since Sam would inhabit Magnum's body, Tom Selleck's involvement would have been minimal, maybe permission to use his likeness or a brief cameo. But somewhere between pitch and production, the whole thing collapsed under network politics and legal complications. And honestly, we're still mourning that missed opportunity. Sam Beckett solving crimes in 1980s Hawaii while trying not to wreck a Ferrari? That's not just television, that's art. So that crossover would have been perfect. Meanwhile, back in the show that actually aired, they couldn't even keep basic rules consistent. Number 4. Al went from seeing strangers to seeing Sam. Ever wonder what Al actually saw when he looked at Sam? The show couldn't decide and hoped you wouldn't notice. According to early episodes, Al saw whoever Sam had leapt into, not Sam himself. This created genuinely awkward moments. When Sam leapt into a stunning secretary, Al spent the episode openly flirting with her. He clearly wasn't seeing Scott Bakula struggling in heels. He was seeing the woman Sam had replaced. The show hand-waved this with vague explanations about neural connections, but never committed. Meanwhile, viewers watched Dean Stockwell hit on his best friend without realizing it. Then, around season 5, the writers decided this setup was more trouble than it was worth. Suddenly, Al could see Sam as Sam, regardless of whose body he'd leaped into. No more awkward moments, no more confused double takes. Did the show acknowledge this change? Nope. But fans had a theory. After writing themselves into corners where Al accidentally complimented Sam's legs while he was stuck in women's bodies, someone decided to just stop doing that. Smart move. Once you've written your character into unknowingly hitting on his time-traveling best friend, the only solution is pretending it never happened. The show learned to ignore one impossible problem, but there was another impossible problem right there on screen, literally in the shadows. Number 3. Holograms don't cast shadows, but Al did. If Al was a hologram, why did he cast a shadow? Because Dean Stockwell wasn't actually a hologram and the show had to work within real-world physics. Fans developed elaborate theories. Maybe Al's holographic form included simulated light refraction. Maybe Ziggy was projecting him so realistically that shadows were part of the package. These actually made decent scientific sense if you squinted. The truth was more practical. Dean Stockwell was an incredibly animated actor who gestured constantly. Trying to digitally remove every shadow would have been a post-production nightmare in the early 90s and would have made Al look like a paper cutout floating through scenes. The same logic applied to reflections. Sometimes you'd catch Al mirrored in windows or see light bouncing off those metallic jackets. Technically impossible, but when your character's wardrobe included more sequins than Vegas, scientific accuracy took a back seat. Most shows would either spend a fortune fixing this or write around it. Quantum Leap just owned it, trusting viewers cared more about Al's personality than his photon behavior. When you're already asking audiences to accept time travel and body swapping, a hologram with a shadow isn't the biggest leap of faith. Fans could overlook shadowy holograms and wardrobe inconsistencies. What they couldn't overlook was how the show ended, or more accurately, how it didn't end. Number 2. Bellisario didn't know he was writing the series finale. Over 5 seasons, fans invested emotionally in whether Sam would ever make it home. And then everything went sideways. The Season 5 finale was never meant to end the series. Bellisario wrote it expecting a 6th season, and NBC never told him otherwise. Instead, Sam leaps into himself at a Pennsylvania coal miner bar in 1953, meeting people who resemble past Leap characters but with different names, and the bartender, also named Al. Through these encounters, Sam questions his journey, why he's leaping, whether someone's controlling it. Eventually, he learns he's been in control the entire time. Given the choice to go home, Sam leaps back to 1969 to tell Beth that Al's alive, rewriting his friend's timeline and giving him the happy ending he never got. Then came the black screen, the title card, the gut punch ending. And yes, they misspelled Beckett in syndication. The original broadcast got it right, but someone dropped the second T later. Bellisario later revealed he'd planned a more emotional ending where Sam and Al share a proper goodbye in a bar outside time. But NBC rushed post-production and slapped on that text without consulting him. Looking back, that final message wasn't a cliffhanger, it was a cosmic shrug. Still, there was something poetic in Sam's decision. The mysterious bartender told him he could leave any time. Sam chose to stay and keep helping people. Sam Beckett was loyal to his mission. The writers? Not so much when it came to their own rules. Number 1. The lifetime rule was basically a suggestion. One of Quantum Leap's foundational rules was straightforward. Sam could only leap within his own lifetime. No medieval castles, no ancient Rome, just 20th century America. The show even offered a pseudo-scientific explanation. Sam's life was like a piece of string, with birth on one end and death on the other. Ball it up, and every moment touches every other moment. That's his leaping range. Except like most Quantum Leap rules, this one got tossed out when convenient. In Season 5's Civil War episode, Sam landed squarely in 1862, almost 100 years before his birth. How did they explain it? Sam had leaped into his great-grandfather, Captain John Beckett. The genetic connection supposedly allowed Ziggy to override timeline restrictions. DNA magic to the rescue. The show pushed further when Sam leaped into Al during a lightning storm. Through some Simo-leap nonsense, they swapped places, landing Sam in 1945, 2 years before his own birth. The explanation involved subatomic particle exchange, code for the writers were throwing quantum physics terms at the wall. So yeah, technically Sam was supposed to stay within his own lifetime. But if saving Martin Luther King Jr.'s ancestor during the Civil War meant bending rules, fans were fine with that. The show established rules, then cheerfully broke them whenever a good story demanded it. Make up rules, ignore them when necessary, move on quickly before anyone thinks too hard about the paradoxes. And there you have it, 15 facts proving Quantum Leap was just as weird and wonderful behind the scenes as it was on our screens. From improvised catchphrases to rebuilt childhood bars, from career advice ignored to continuity errors embraced, the show delivered plenty of fascinating stories off-screen too. Which fact surprised you most? Did you know about the Magnum PI crossover that almost happened? Were you today years old when you learned Al's cigar was basically a 5-year scam? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We genuinely want to know what blew your mind. Thanks for leaping through television history with us. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that subscribe button and we'll catch you in the next video. Until next time, oh boy.